Hi there, friends. It's Dr. Bill, the writing specialist, the most specialist writing doctor for many of you out there. I want to talk to you a little bit about revising. When you're doing reading, you're taking the content of a paragraph or an entire passage or selection, and you're trying to either understand the introduction, the body, and the conclusion, or the topic sentence, the main idea, and the specific supporting sentences. Okay. So reading is understanding or comprehending the content. Revising is arm what many of you use as adding, removing, replacing, or moving content around, which is improving the content by either adding, removing, replacing, or moving a word, a phrase, a sentence, a transition, etc. Okay. So the one that I'm going to talk about with you today to help a seventh grade teacher friend that's in the group with all of you who asked me to help you is transitions and how to have a good topic sentence that replaces something that's too vague in a paragraph, removes it, and replaces it with something more specific that's relevant and related to all of those specific supporting sentences in that paragraph. So let me show you first the question, and then we can take it from there to see how I might be able to best help you. This one just happened to be question 28 of the seventh grade STAR test from last year. It got a whopping 51% correct. For those of you who know are not math teachers, that means that 49% of the kids in Texas got it wrong. It was TEKS 10Bi, category 2, known as readiness, meaning that they should have learned it in that grade. But they've been learning transitions, hopefully, since way before seventh grade. All right. Miguel Milagros, this guy here in italics that was writing a paper about a famous Texan. Okay? Is writing some content, and so revision is improving the content. So it says he has not used the most effective transition in sentence 2. So I highlighted transit sentence 2, at least the part that is being asked about. However, okay, uh, and it says which phrase should replace, however. So if you're going to replace something, it needs to be first removed. So remove red, replace green. Okay. So for those of you who have the big Dear Doc binder, you can find a couple hundred transition words and phrases that you can laminate and put back to back with each other on page 251 and 252. If you went to one of the mini conference trainings and you received a hard copy of the mini binder, you can find transitions on page 12 and 13. It's the same ones. Again, it needs to become part of your vocabulary if you're not having a spelling test, because a lot of kids don't know what some of these words or phrases mean. And in this case, they were all phrases. Okay. So let me show you real quick my Read-Vising and Writing Graphic Organizer. So there is some content. The question, the second one we're going to look at today, had to do with replacing a topic that was too vague and putting one that was more specific to the content of the rest of the sentences in the paragraph. Okay? But let's come down to the arm part where we add, remove, replace, and move something. I'm also going to show you another cool way to teach revising by using the acronym CREAM. Your kids are getting bored with ARM, then have what we call in the Rio Grande Valley, fresas con crema, cream. Or you could put some whipped cream on top of banana splits for kids who do the strategies for revising and apply them well. What does cream mean? To combine two sentences. Come together right now. To remove something, which we're going to be doing twice today, and replacing it with something better. To eliminate something that doesn't belong. One of these things just doesn't belong here. To add a word, a phrase, transition, a sentence, or to move something around, okay? And so you'll see the color green is to add because it's good. Red, remove, surrounded by green, replace, or move. Okay, and I want you to notice one of our questions that we did earlier said, what is the best revision? All you're doing is changing the order of the words, how they're organized, without changing their content or their meaning. And just so you can understand how I did the arm, the lower these skills are on the arm, the easier, in my opinion, they should have been for your kids to handle. Okay. So for me, adding a transition between two sentences is a little bit, if not quite a bit easier than trying to add a topic sentence for a whole paragraph. So let's take a look and see what it says. All right. Transition two. So we have here Teeter. Let's do it this way. Teeter, sentence one. Transition, however. Totter. See, sentence one. Transition, however. Saw, sentence two. Right? They don't like that part of the teeter totter, the transition. And so in the old days, I used to take my kids out to a teeter totter, a seesaw that used to be an invention on a playground until I thought they were too dangerous and got rid of most of them. And some kids became different parts of a transition between one sentence to the next, or one paragraph to the next, or one idea to the next. All right, so let's look and see. How do you replace however? Well, let's look and see. Let me rewind. Some American authors have used their writing to bring places they are closely associated with to life. That's a great topic sentence. So there it is on sentence one. You can laminate these to last longer. The Americans have used their writing to places therefore related to your life. Well, some Americans, well, who are those Americans? Well, they just happen to tell you in sentence 2, sentence 3, sentence 4. In sentence 2, it's Mark Twain. In sentence 3, it's Jack London. In sentence 4, it's this guy that this whole paper is about, Frank Dobie. Okay, so if we try in the meantime, we're going to eliminate. Normally, you're going to eliminate 3. Or eliminate, because it doesn't belong there. In the meantime, there's no timeline mentioned in the Teeter Totter of sentence 1 and sentence 2. So it wouldn't make sense to put that phrase in the meantime or a similar one meanwhile. As a result, well, this does not sound like a cause and effect relationship. Think of it this way. Cause starts with a C. Effect starts with an E. C comes before E in the alphabet, and causes come before effects. I want you to notice there's cause, there's effect. The why is the cause, the reason is the effect, the result. Is it an action or reaction? Is it a conflict leading to a resolution? Is it a paired passage where you're comparing and contrasting two things? How are they the same? How are they different? Well, let's check all 4 letters and find out. But that's not what we're working on here. We're just trying to figure out what in the world belongs in this teeter-totter right there instead of the word however. So, reading on, I'm going to eliminate cause as a result effect because it's not a cause and effect relationship. It's just giving you 1, 2, 3 examples of people who have brought places they are closely related to life in their writings. Letter C says, for instance, in other words, for example, evidence. So let's say we give you an evidence example. Yeah, they did that for sentence 2, sentence 3, and sentence 4. Okay. And you just are going to happen to see that right there. Are they giving me evidence or examples that support something that they tell you over here? And yes, they do. Who are these? Some people? Well, Mark Twain is one of them. He made his hometown Shift, Hannibal, Shift, Missouri City State famous in Shift Adventures of Shift Tom, Shift Sawyer. Why am I saying Shift? Because I don't have time to teach editing in middle school. So I've got to figure out how I do teachable moments of instruction, TMI. Not too much information, but a quick teachable moment of instruction that says, oh, the name of a person, the name of a city and a state, comma between city and state, punctuation, and the important names of a title of a book. Okay, so that one happened to be for instance, and it means the same as for example. So that's the goodest one so far. Above all, well, on the 4 examples that I see here, above all means more importantly, most importantly, it doesn't place the 4 examples of authors on any level of importance. They all seem to be equals. They just happen to be spending the rest of the other paragraph talking about Dobie and his book and how it brought attention to a part of Texas that he lived in. So the best choice would be to remove however, because that's not an opposite statement. It's an example statement. So you can use for instance, or for example, or some evidence of this. That is how I would do question number 28 on your 7th grade test to transition from one sentence to the next. Please share this with somebody who's struggling with transitions, with the skill of transition, or the TEK, the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skill 10Bi, Category 2 Readiness. I would love to see you guys on Saturday. We won't be talking about transitions as much as talking about the process of how to get from La La Land on the essay, where kids had no earthly idea what they were doing or talking about or typing about, to one land or two land. That's a reasonable goal. By December, try to make sure all your kids know how to get to one land or two land from two different readers, so that we can spend time getting to 3, 4, and 5 land in January through April. So this Saturday's training, just as a reminder, is for those of you who are in elementary or middle school and high school teachers who have students functioning on an elementary level, but specifically on ECR, extended constructed responses. Did a few videos, quick videos last night using Little Tiny Pirate, part 1 and part 2. Middle school will be the next Saturday, where we try to take how to get a 1 and a 2 to a little bit higher level, because the older the student in terms of age or grade, the more they're going to expect them to do in terms of how it's organized and sometimes how it's developed, in order to have that best chance of getting that. And then the following Saturday, we'll be doing high school. Okay. Now, some of you can attend all 3 sessions, because I want to make sure that all 3 sessions are different from each other. That way you can get 6 hours of different content. It's $25 for just you to come to 1 or 2 or all 3. Or if you bring 2 or more people to and sign up for both sessions on that website, then guess what? It says there, 25 plus 25, 1 person, 25 plus 25, 2 people, that's $100. Then anything with $100 or more, those 2 people can invite 2 more people. If you have 3 people, they can invite 3 people. You just have to make sure you sign up for both sessions now, not later. 4 people can invite 4 people. That's as long as you get to the 2 people or more signing up for both sessions. You don't want to stay in 0 land, 1 land, or 2 land. That's what most everybody did all year for the last 2 years, and in fact the last 30 years. Let's try and get ourselves to 3, 4, and 5 land, because I'm only going to be doing those videos because they seem to be the biggest problem these next 3 weeks and in 3 weeks in October. So please message me if you would like to take part on 1 or more of those 1 land and 2 lands for these next 3 Saturdays. It'll just be a couple of hours and then maybe 30 minutes to an hour of Q&A. Let's say you're already doing some essays and you want some guidance. Hey, how does this sound? Well, because many of you are going to have essays that are going to sound similar to other students. Hearing what I share with those teachers is going to help you as well, because you'll know, oh, what would I add or tweak or change that will make this a more effective central idea, controlling idea, or thesis. And we'll get more into, um, I'll have to have a separate session on passages that have the purpose of opinion argumentative, because depending on the grade level, that gets a little bit different in terms of what's expected of your students, and also the prompts about paired passages where you have to either pick an opinion from one or the other, and do counter evidence or etc. So we'll save all that for a later time, so we can just keep it simple and just focus on responding to prompts and topics about one passage for now. So thanks for watching this video on transitions. Tune in for my next one when I talk a little bit about adding a topic sentence by removing the one that's too vague, that's not talking about the content or the meaning of the rest of the paragraph, because the meaning and the content has to all work together. So that topic sentence, also called the main idea, all have to work together. Thank you guys, and God bless.